Good morning, everyone. Let me drink some water first. Maybe the nerves will go. Cool it out. It's good to see everybody here this morning. I see that we have a lot of visitors here this morning. Just know that you are our honored guests, and I hope that you will enjoy the service this morning. It's good to see all of you, as I said. It's also good to see Kat and Megan visiting with us here again. And it's good to see the Chiwarizos back. And most importantly, it's good to see baby Anaya here with us, worshiping with us for the very first time. It's good to have you here with us, baby Anaya. I trust and hope everybody has had a blessed week. And I hope that you came here, coming to worship God, to give Him all the honor that He deserves. And I hope that you take away all the noises of your lives and focus on giving Him all the glory that He deserves. I'm sure all of us are aware that we are in a new month. So a new month means a new theme. So we are starting the new theme of this month, which is maturing in commitment. Maturing in commitment. So you'll see there's a lot of brothers that are going to come up every Sunday with different topics, and also every Wednesday with different studies, just to try and encourage us to mature in commitment. So I hope all of you are excited for the new theme. I hope all of you will read more about what commitment is and how we mature. And also, it's not about us being excited, it's also about us learning. It's also about us maturing. There's no point us, coming up and preaching and teaching and studying, and we don't see any changes. So the purpose of the themes is for the church to continue to grow on those topics or on that theme for the month. So my topic this morning under the theme maturing in commitment is commit your works to the Lord, and your plans will be established. So that's taken from our scripture reading, which is Proverbs chapter 16 verse 3. So when I got this topic, or when this topic was allocated to me, the first thing that I asked myself is, what is commit? What is commit? When you hear that word commit or commitment, what comes to your mind first? What do you think about when that word commitment is said or put in a sentence, or if we can say maturing in commitment? What does that mean? Be serious. Okay. So I just want you to have that in the back of your mind, as we go through this study, that what do you think about? When you hear that word commitment or commit, when we talk about our theme, maturing in commitment, what do you expect to learn? What do you expect to mature in? So that's what we're going to be focusing on this morning. So to me, when I hear the word commitment, the first thing that comes to my mind is, to dedicate yourself fully to something. When you dedicate yourself fully, not half measures, but fully to something, or to a cause, or to something that you want to achieve. That is what commitment is. So in other words, you throw your entire self to something. You throw your entire self to something. Have you ever thrown your entire self to something? Have you ever thrown your entire self to something? Have you ever got out of your way and dedicated yourself to something? When I mean throw yourself entirely to something, I mean that you don't care. Whether things are going your way, whether things are not going your way, you still throw your entire self to that something. That means you are committed, I'm not talking about when you feel like it, sometimes I don't feel like it. Today I think it's too cold, I don't want to do it. Today I'm taking a cheat day, or I just want to hang on this fence. That's not what commitment is. Commitment is when you throw your entire self to something. Your entire self in order for you to achieve that thing. And you do not stop until you achieve that thing. Because you are dedicating your entire self fully to that something that you want to achieve. You know, many people want results. Many people want rewards. Many people want blessings, but they don't want to stay committed to something. Everybody wants the results. You know, everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to be the best in something. But then when we start talking about stay committed, hey, then now you must look at people now scratching their heads. Hey, so that means for me to win. That means for me to be the best. That means I must wake up early in the morning. That means I must do it even when the weather is not well. That means I must do it even when my partner does not feel like it. Commitment means that you throw your entire self to something. Many people, like I said, they want the results, they want the blessings, they want all the things that come after you commit. But the first thing that you need to do, brethren, is to commit, to throw your entire self to something. Same applies when it comes to marriage. I'm not a marriage counselor, but you know, I've been married for December, it's going to be 7 years, so I've got some few experience of marriage. Same applies to marriage, you know. Many people want to get married. Many people want to get married. You know, most people want to have that beautiful, you know, wedding. You know, that everybody longs to have that beautiful wedding, you know, with decoration and everything. You know, why? Because anybody can do that. Anybody can have that beautiful wedding. You know, you can even go and make a loan and make that beautiful wedding. Anybody can do that. But to stay committed to marriage is very, very difficult. It's very, very difficult, especially when things are not going your way. Especially when things are not going as what you expected. It's very difficult to stay committed. But it's very, very easy to get married. But to stay married, very, very difficult. To stay committed in marriage is not an easy thing to do. But we find that most of the people want to get married because you find the person says, you know what, everybody's doing it. Everybody's getting married. In fact, all my other girlfriends I'm the only one left. So I also want to get married too, you know. Everybody's getting married. But are you going to stay committed to that marriage? Are you going to stay committed to that person? You know, it's so lovely when you go to weddings, when you see people in love, you know, when they make those beautiful vows, you know, in sickness and in health, in rich or poor, to death do your part. You find that it's so beautiful when they look into their eyes, you know, look into each other, they're like, sure, this is beautiful. But it's another thing when you stay together and when you strive to be committed. It's very, very difficult. You know, you find people coming with different excuses. You find Brother Jackson maybe saying, how can I stay committed to Sister Nondo? How can I stay committed to her if she does not cook for me anymore? I mean, this lady told me she's going to cook for me until death do us part. But now she does not want to cook for me anymore. How do you expect me to stay committed to her? How do you expect me to stay committed to her? You know, you find also in the Jacob's family, you know, Sister Philip as well saying, you know what, how do you expect me to stay committed to Brother Ryan? You know, I'm the breadwinner in this family. Brother Ryan lost his job. You know, Brother Ryan is not providing anymore. How do you expect me to stay committed to Brother Ryan when I'm the one who's bringing in all the dollars in it? You know, you find that Brother Takalani as well, you know, comes with excuses, say, you know what, how do you expect me to stay committed to Sister TV? You know, I mean, she's not looking good anymore. You know, she's not looking good anymore. How do you expect me to stay committed to her? You know, she's not even taking care of herself anymore. You know, she's hardly taking any showers anymore. How do you expect me to stay committed to that? You know, if you find yourself asking yourself these questions, that means, in other words, you were never committed to marriage. You were never committed to that person. But you are committed to what they bring to the table. You know, you are committed to what they bring to the table. When they stop bringing that thing to the table, there's no way of staying committed to them. But when you made those vows, You said, I'm going to be committed to you no matter what. No matter what, I'll stay committed to you. So the commitment that I'm talking to you about, or that I want to talk to you about this morning, is the commitment that you throw yourself fully into something, no matter what. No matter what happens. Same applies when it comes to our dreams. We find that we have to do everything in our powers to achieve our goal. We must throw our entire selves to our dream. I've never seen anybody who has been successful, who has not been committed to the cause. There is never a point where you're going to be successful in anything if you do not commit yourself to that thing. You will want the blessing, you will want the reward, but if you're not committed to your dreams, you're going to achieve, you might achieve it, but you're not going to achieve it to the fullest if you're not committed. We find that for some people to achieve their goals, they are willing to do whatever it takes. They are willing to throw their entire self to that something. They are willing to wake up early in the morning, in the rain, in the wind, in difficult terrain, even when they don't feel like it, they are willing to do that thing because they know what they want in the end. They are willing to throw their entire self in order for them to achieve that thing. You find that they are willing to do it even when nobody is doing it. When you're committed, it must come to a point where people even think, this person is crazy. That's what committed is. When you're doing something so much, when you're throwing your entire self into something, to a point where people say, this man or this lady is crazy. When I think of this, I think of our cycling buddy. Uncle Errol knows him very well. When we started cycling, me and Uncle Errol, he came on out and joined our thing, and he was committed. He used to cycle all the time, whether it be rain, but you could see him, this man is struggling. When he comes up the hill, this man was struggling. But each and every time, whenever there's a ride, he's there. Every single day, whatever condition is there. And sometimes me and Uncle Errol used to laugh at him and say, this man is trying whatever he is, but he's not improving. But you can see him right now that the commitment that he put in, the work that he put in, is showing very, very well. He said he's probably 68 years old, but he can ride with me any day. So that's the commitment that we need to show, or that's the commitment that I want to talk to you about. To a point where people think you are crazy. That's the commitment that you see. We see also the same thing with actors. Actors when they are playing a movie or whatever it is, you see that those people stay committed to that role to a point where they become even that person. You find that those actors are even willing to lose their weight. You cannot even recognize that person anymore. Why? Because they're committed to that role. They lose weight and then they also gain it again on the same movie. That is the commitment that I'm talking about. To a point where people say, no, even for money, I'm not willing to do that. But that person is committed to acting that role as if it was real. You see him going down, you see him, transforming his body just for that role. That is the commitment that I'm talking to you about. But you find that many times we get committed to things that are wrong, or rather to things that are meaningless. You find people that are committed to food. I don't know if you know those people. People that throw their entire self to food. People that they're not even scared to cook. Those are the people that I'm talking about. People that are committed to food. It reminds me of a flatmate of mine when I started working. This man was committed to food. When I talk committed, he used to cook a big pot of rice like this and big pot of stew, and then he goes on his bed and then he eats, he sleeps, he wakes up again, he eats again. And I was like, this man, and he was not lazy to cook. After work, every time he comes and cooks. He eats like he's gonna die. He throws his entire self to the food. To a point where sometimes I'm like, hey man, today I don't feel like cooking, man. Let's go, get some takeaways. Then I go with him, You know, we probably go to KFC there, I get something, yeah, and he doesn't get something small, he gets something big. After KFC, he said, "Hi man, this is not enough." He goes to McDonald's and he gets the biggest meal in McDonald's, the biggest burger that you can find in McDonald's, and then he eats it. You know, he's committed to food in a way that I remember in one of our induction courses, we went to a hotel in town somewhere there, to a point where, you know, on the hotels there's buffets. I mean, he was eating all out there. But other than that, what made me laugh the most is, you know, when it came to dessert time now, you know, he took the entire cake. People were asking me, "Hey man, is it your birthday today?" You know, that is someone that is committed to food. You know, you also find people that are committed to sports. People that are committed, committed to that sport. That are fans that whether the team loses or not, they are committed to that sport. They are committed to that team. You go to their home, you see them, that this is the real supporter of Man United. You see their cars, this is the real supporter of Man United. You see what they wear, this is the real supporter of Man United. Whether they lose or draw, you find those persons staying committed to that cause. You know, when I was in high school, there was a friend of mine who was committed to Orlando Pirates. You used to find, you know, when it comes Monday for those Orlando Pirates lost, when it lose, right, on whether it be on Saturday or Sunday, he does not eat on Monday. He will not eat. You will find him angry, moody all the time because that team lost. You know, when the team loses, he loses with the team. But when the team wins, he wins with the team. He's committed to that thing. But those are the things that are meaningless. Those are the things that we find ourselves throwing our entire self to those things. But what about the spiritual things, brother? Do we find ourselves, whether things go our way or not, we still find ourselves throwing our entire being to that thing? We'll still find ourselves, you know what, I will not eat until I get this thing. I will not eat until I read this Bible. I will not eat until God grants me, you know, what I desire. Do we go to that point where we stay committed to the spiritual things? Because likewise, you know, God expects us to throw our entire self to Him. You know, He doesn't expect us to be on the fence. He doesn't expect us to be lukewarm. He does not expect us to be Christians when it's convenient. You know, brother Caleb used to say, you know, used to say this saying that, you know, we treat God like, you know, like, what did he used to say? Like when he sells something, when you sell something, is good enough until his last sale, in other words. So when he doesn't sell something, God is not good enough. You know, when He doesn't bless you, God is not good enough. When He does not do things in accordance to your will, there's no way I'll stay committed to you. But when things are going well, then you want to stay committed to God. You find that Christians sometimes say, you know what, today I'm tired. I don't feel like it's Christian today. Not on a Monday. Brother Ryan, you can't expect me to be a Christian on a Monday. I mean, I was a Christian the whole day on Sunday. Is that committed? Is that the commitment that we're talking about? The commitment that you throw your entire self to something. You find that the person says, you know what, today I'm taking a cheat day out of Christianity. Today I don't want to be a Christian. You find the person telling you that today I don't feel like going to church. You know, today I feel tired because of the activities that I did yesterday. You know, because of the big schedule that I had. You know, I was trying to exercise on Saturday and I'm just so tired. Today I don't feel like going to church. Is that committed? Is that commitment? You know, maybe I'll go next week. Next week comes, now the weather is not so good. Maybe I'll go when it's sunny. Next time comes, no, today I don't have transport money. Excuses. Is that commitment? That is not committed. You know, Proverbs 16 verse 3 says, commit your work to the Lord, and your thoughts or your plans will be established. Commit comes from a Hebrew verb, halal. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it well. Commit comes from a Hebrew verb, halal, which means to roll or to roll away. You know, it's like when you roll a ball, that's what commit means in Hebrew, halal. When you roll, it means to roll to or to roll away. Why to roll or to roll away? When you read the book of Psalms 55 verse 22, it says, cast your burdens on the Lord and he shall sustain you. In other words, roll your burdens to God and he shall sustain you. In other words, roll your burdens away from God, he shall sustain you. Matthew 11 verse 28 says, come to me, all who labor and are heavily laden, and I will give you rest. In other words, if you want to roll away, you're coming to Jesus Christ. If you want to roll away, you are coming to God. If you want to roll away, you're trying to say, you know what, I'm not in control yet. You take the ball, Lord. You take the wheel. You're rolling it away. You're saying, you know what, I'm not capable of this. But you find that many times, we as Christians or we as human beings, you find that we don't want to roll away everything to God. It says, commit your works to the Lord. I like what the NIV says. It says, commit whatever you do to the Lord. Whatever you do, in everything that you do, roll it away to God. Not to some things. Sometimes you say, you know what, this one I got it, Lord. But the word says, commit your works to the Lord. And I feel like I'm saying, it says, commit to the Lord whatever you do. Anything that you do. So in other words, when I wake up in the morning, I roll my day towards the Lord. In other words, I commit my day to God. Because I know I'm not in control. I roll that day to God, that whatever happens, Lord, I'm committing it to you. When I want to travel, when I want to start my journey, I roll the journey towards God. Even though I know that I'm a good driver. But I still roll it to God. When things are going good, when things are going bad, in my eyes, I still roll it to God. Before I make decisions, I need to roll it to God. But many times we have a mentality of a striker, a seasoned striker. You know what I mean by that? You know the mentality of a striker. The mentality of a striker doesn't. The mentality of a striker is to strike. When they see an opportunity to strike, they strike. When they see even the angle is bad, they're gonna strike because they know I'm gonna make that angle. That's the mentality that we have most of the time. You know what? We don't want to roll it towards God. We don't want to pass to the other opponent. You know what? I've got this. That's what the striker does. I've got this. I can make that shot. That goalie has nothing to do in front of me. I can do this. That's the mentality of a striker. We should not have that mentality of a striker. Even though you know that, you know what, I got this. You need to still roll it to God. Pass the ball to God. Because He knows what He needs to do. But many times we do not do that. When you roll the ball or when you commit to God, it means that you trust God fully and you are dedicating your entire self to God. It means that you are willing to do whatever it takes. You are willing to put yourself aside and say, what, God, take the wheel. You are willing to dedicate your entire body to God. Not on some things, but in everything. One of my favorite scripture, Romans 12 verse 1 says, therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy. So here Paul is saying that I appeal to you, brethren, in view of what God has done for you and for me. In view of the mercy that He has shown through Jesus Christ, I appeal to you. Knowing what God has done for us, we can roll the ball. Knowing who God is, knowing what God has done through the past, we can feel confident that we can roll that ball to Him. It says going forward that to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy, pleasing to God, this is your true worship. So in other words, we need to offer our entire bodies to God. This hand that I have, this mouth that I have, it has to be to please God. Even Solomon says that everything is meaningless than to say that you offer your bodies as a living sacrifice. That is your true and proper worship. Your entire body must be to serve God, brethren. That's when you say, I'm committed. That's when you throw your entire self to God. I like the second part there on that scripture. It first says, commit to the Lord all your works. And the Lord will make what? Will establish your plans. Another version there, I think it's the New King James, it says that, and your thoughts will be established. What does that mean? What does that mean? And your thoughts will be established. Proverbs 3 verse 5 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. All your ways submit to Him, and He will make your path straight. Trust in the Lord. Same thing, commit to God. Submit to God in all your ways. The same thing, commit to God. And He says what? He will make your path straight. Same applies. As what Proverbs 16 verse 3 says, that your plans will be established. What does that mean? That your plans will be established. Does it mean that everything will go well? Does it mean that, whatever I need, as long as I commit it to God, whatever I need, as long as I throw it, I roll it to God, I'll get what I want? Is that what the scripture is saying? It says that, and your plans will be established. What does that mean? Well, brethren, it means to be established, or for our plans to be established and our thoughts to be established. It means that, whatever happens, we'll have peace with the situation. That's what it means. That your plans will be established. It means that you will find peace because you knew that, I committed it to God. I first brought it to God, and you know that at the end, God's will prevail. That's what your plans or your thoughts will be established means. It means that the thoughts that you're going to have will be from God. It means that they will be established because you committed them to God. It means that whatever happens, brethren, you're going to have peace with the situation. I like what Philippians 4 verse 6 says. It says that be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be known to God. Listen to verse number 7. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds through Jesus Christ. So in other words, if I pray to God, if I commit everything that I do to God, I don't have to be anxious. I don't have to be anxious about anything. Why? Because the peace of God that surpasses all understanding will guide my what? My heart and my mind through Jesus Christ. In other words, we'll have peace with whatever situation that comes in our form. Only if we what? We're not anxious. Only if we what? We send everything to God. And how can we do that? By prayer and supplication with thanksgiving. God will know our request, whether it goes according to us or not. We know that we'll be at peace with every situation that will come in our face. There's many examples in the Bible of people that committed their works to God, and we know the results. We had on Wednesday. I'm not going to dwell a lot on the examples because that's what we're going to focus on Wednesday. So I'm encouraging you to come out on Wednesday. We'll be focusing on the heroes of faith and how they showed commitment. So I'm not going to dwell a lot on the examples of those people, but I'm just going to touch there and there. We heard on Wednesday from Brother Ryan about Nehemiah. Nehemiah, before he built the wall, or before he wanted to even to go to the king, to ask for him to go and build the wall, he first committed everything to God. He first prayed. We had Brother Ryan. It took a couple of months for him before that. How many months again? 4 months that he committed everything to God. And what happened at the end? We see that everything was established. His thoughts were established. We find that everything went in accordance to what? Not to Nehemiah's will, but to God's will. We see that everything just opened up. The king was willing to write letters. The king was willing to give him timber. Why? Because he committed everything to God. For 4 months, he committed everything to God. and he prayed to God. We see the same thing as on the book of Esther. Queen Esther, we see that she does exactly the same thing. We see that before she saves the Jews, before she was even willing to go to the king, because she knew that, you know what, she might not even come back. She knew that, you know what, I'm putting my life at risk. She asked Mordecai, you know, that, you know what, I'm putting my life at risk here, but I'm asking you, can you please gather all the Jews, and then please fast and pray for 3 days and 3 nights with me. What is she doing? She's committing her plans to God. She fasted with the Jews for 3 days and 3 nights. And what happens? We see that everything opened up. Her thoughts and her plans were established. According to what? To God's will. No, not according to her will. We find that everything the Jews were saying. Why? Because she committed her plans to God. Why? Because she fasted and prayed for 3 days and 3 nights. And we see also, last but certainly not least, we see Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, as what we had this morning from Brother Tato, that Jesus Christ committed his entire self to God's will. He came here to die. He was tasked to die for you and for me, to save you and for me, to pave our path. And he was committed to that, to the very, very end. We find that it came to a point where it was very difficult for Jesus Christ in the Garden of Gethsemane. Luke chapter 22 verse 42 says, Jesus Christ says, Father, if you are willing, take this cup from me. Yet not my will, but your will be done. It got to a point where it was very difficult, where Jesus Christ said, God, is there any other way that we can do this? Because Jesus Christ knew what was in front of him. Jesus Christ knew that he was going to suffer, but he's asking God, please, God, take this cup away from me. If there's any way that we can do this, and I don't have to suffer, please, can we do that? But nevertheless, not my will, but your will be done. So Jesus Christ was committing his plans to God. He was committing everything to God. He wanted something else. But we see that after that prayer, his thoughts were established. Even though he didn't get what he wanted. You know, he wanted that cup to be taken away, but he didn't get that. But we see that he was still committed to the very end. To the end, death on the cross, brethren. He was willing to stay committed to the cause. He wanted another way. He committed it to God. He prayed to God, but God didn't give him that. But he still was committed to the very, very end. So that's the examples that we can learn from, brethren, that we must stay committed. And we must hold it to God. Everything that you have, everything in your mind, everything that you feel like, you know what, this is too much for me. Whether it's too much, whether you feel like you're capable of doing it, you need to hold it to God. In conclusion, brethren, by committing our works to God, we recognize that He's better than us. By committing our works to God, we recognize that God is a better striker than you and me. We know that even though I think like I can make that, God is the best. All I have to do is what? Roll it to God. All I have to do is what? Throw my entire plans to God. And God's plans will be established. And our thoughts will be established according to God's will. Committing our works to God also means that we are desperate for Him each and every day. You know, it means that I cannot survive without you, God. We saw Brother Cornell last week showing us, you know, through Samson that, you know what, just a minute without God, we cannot survive. Same applies to us, brethren. A minute, whether it be a minute, whether it be a second, we cannot survive without God. That's what commitment means. So, brethren, my encouragement this morning is that let's commit everything to God, not some things. I know all of us have desires. I know all of us have weaknesses. I know all of us have strength, but let us commit it to God. Let us commit it to God. And our plans, it doesn't say maybe there. It says your plans will be established. It's guaranteed it will be established. But established according to what? According to God's will and according to God's purpose. So that is my encouragement, that we commit everything to God as we go through this week, as we go through this year, that everything we commit it to God. Everything, in whatever we do, we commit it to God. If there's any need for prayers, please come to the front. And if you are not baptized, if you are not saved, the opportunity is today. Thank you.
Glory be to Him forever, in His praises to Christ the Lamb. He has filled my life with sunshine. He has made me what I am. Oh, that everyone would know Him. Oh, friend above, and He is forevermore. He is everything to me, He is everything to me, and everything shall be. I will never cease to sing the song of gladness, the world above, my soul shall sing, love, life and life, the precious friend.